Trashy Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage, people. I had to look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I'm your host.
And my name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host. Baby, it's cold outside.
I really can't stay.
It's chilly in my house. What is that the lyric? That's the lyric, right?
Sure. Here's the thing. Nothing is colder than Los Angeles when it's 50 degrees.
Nothing. Not one thing. I would rather be in Antarctica.
And I know that sounds
LA.
insane to people who aren't here, but a California 50 is a Minnesota -10.
It's so cold. I turned our heater on. I finally kicked her on because it was like 66 in the house, and I was like, "Oh, I can't have that. I'm gonna get sick."
Right?
You know, I'm gonna get sick I'm gonna hypothermia in my own house. Taylor just took the dog out, and I said, I had to make sure, like I double checked before he left to make sure he had enough clothing on to go on that walk. What is the weather right this second? It's probably a frigid 69 degrees outside. Oh God.
The icicles
I hope he makes
are
it
forming.
home safe. Oh my goodness.
He needs to have blankets, extra water in the car.
I mean, this is serious business.
It
is cold though. We're kind of joking,
yeah.
but like not really. Like it's fucking cold. We're having family over for Christmas this year. I demanded it. I said, "This is the tradition now. I'm the captain now," you know. And said, "You come and stress me out at my house, not the other way around. Got to be at home turf." And so I'm starting to experiment with my grandma's cheesecake recipe, which is the best cheesecake recipe. It's the only cheesecake I like to eat. It's perfect. There's no notes, whatever. But I am experimenting with it just to see what's up. And I saw on TikTok, someone was like, "Here's my recipe for a cinnamon roll cheesecake." And I said, "Shut the fuck up. I don't need to watch this whole thing through because their cheesecake recipe probably sucks. But what if I made my cheesecake recipe with the cinnamon roll?" And so I did it. It's pretty good. It's ruining the integrity of the cheesecake, so I'm probably not going to do it ever again. But I do keep going back for more and more. And there is, besides the fact that it's not as good as the original, there is a glaring issue. And I'll send you a picture. We could put it on Instagram. The cheesecake looks like it's covered in ground beef.
Oh, the cinnamon. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't photograph. Like had I had some more finesse and some liquidity to the cinnamon roll, it maybe wouldn't have done that. But it does look like ground beef cheesecake. I'm sending you the picture right now. You let me know. Listeners, just trust me. It's not a ground beef cheesecake.
I can't wait.
It's and now that it's gone overnight in the fridge, like there's some layers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you season this ground beef, or is it 80-20, 70-30? What's the mix?
It's greasy. Yeah. So anyways, the experiment didn't go to plan.
Yeah. So I saw on Twitter, you were talking about I'm the captain now. I saw on Twitter, and it was a snippet from a book that a mother wrote. And it was, "Sons are sons until they become husbands." And it was talking about dealing with, quote, toxic daughter-in-laws. One of her quotes in the book is 100% serious, was, "The real homewreckers are the wives of our sons." And this woman sounds fucking unhinged. It's not like an advice book for like how to blend families. It's just like a published list of grievances she has with her daughter. But the S on the son looks like a J. So it's like, Johns are Johns until they become husbands.
Oh my God.
Probably self-published. It was on Amazon. I just found a thread on Twitter about it, but it was truly incredible. Just the reviews were like, well, I've diagnosed everyone in my family with narcissistic personality disorder based on a quiz I read, and this fits my daughter-in-law too. It's a very polarizing reviews. A lot of people are like, yeah, my daughter-in-law sucks. Some people are like, you're fucking unhinged. It's
Oh my God.
it was I was like, I almost want to read this book.
I was gonna say, like, maybe maybe we should read it.
Hashtag ultimate boy mom, you know? It was
Yeah.
but it was great. Yeah. I was very The real home wreckers are the wives of our sons. I was like, stop wanting to fuck your son emotionally.
Boy moms stay wanting to fuck their sons.
It's a weird emotional inset. No, boy moms, this isn't about you. This is fictional boy moms. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a whole
Hashtag
thing.
not all boy moms.
Hashtag not all boy moms. Cass, why are you
Yeah.
trash?
So you know what? I've I've been having this one sit on my list now for like 9 months or so. I don't know. I can't do the math backwards. I think I'm finally ready to share it. It's not like it's honestly it's this is why Taylor is trash. This isn't why I'm trash. But I found I was so amused by it that I was like I'm going to add this to my list. And I want to talk about it now. So I think it was last week, maybe the week before. I was like, I talking about, oh my god, I just want to move to another country, blah blah blah.
Right.
I'm like that. I'm like that person. So when we were in Europe for our honeymoon, I noticed something.
Wait, when did you get
about
married?
March.
Was I there?
You were, but the police had to cart you away.
That's God. Okay, yeah. I didn't know if you
We
guys
have
went
a
through with it.
whole
Yeah.
we
Got it.
have a
Okay.
whole special episode about that. About
Sorry.
the wedding, a whole recap. Maybe you should go back and listen.
Yeah, you're right.
So I noticed something about my brand new husband. He was like unable to sit still and not eavesdrop whenever he would hear other Americans
Yeah.
talking about breweries.
Very specific.
Which I'm like, this is like not a good trait. But we were in a bar in, I want to say Lisbon. There's a lot of expats in Portugal, in Lisbon, Porto, wherever, other Portuguese cities. And there was a guy who was at the bar chatting with anybody who was like nearby. He's like, oh yeah, my wife works for Nordstrom Corporate, and so she's able to work from anywhere. So we moved here, and so she's working right now. I'm just waiting for her to get off. Then we're gonna have a beer. But I don't know where you guys are all from. By the way, I need to say this. This conversation, he was not speaking to us. We were somewhere else. I just need to put that out there. So when I'm talking about this person and he goes, I don't know where you guys are from, he's asking other humans.
Not you and your husband.
Yeah, and they go, oh, we're from Paris, like wherever the fuck they were from. And he goes, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, we're from America. I actually come from a city. I come from a city where there's more breweries than people. And I don't remember where he said he was from, but he didn't say San Diego or Bend, Oregon, or all of the places that Taylor began to list off to me on my honeymoon about where I wrote down his quote. He said, I don't know where this guy's talking about more breweries than people. Like, unless he's from and lists off 3 cities, he's like, then he's fucking lying. And I was like, yeah, so anyways, what should we do? Like, did you enjoy the dinner? Was really fabulous.
Right.
And Taylor's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I need to listen to this motherfucker lie in this bar while his wife slaves away for him to come and drink beers by himself. It was very trashy. He could not mind his own business. He just was like, honest to God, at one point he was like, I'm gonna go order a drink and I'm gonna go fucking talk to this guy. And I said, can you not?
No.
Like, for what? To catch him in a lot? Like, why do you care? So
He'd make an
Uh,
excellent detective. It was like, I caught him in a lie. I got him right where I need him.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'll let him know. Like, oh, Eric, I think should be a good detective and that you're not trashy because of it.
So
So
funny.
that's why Taylor's trash, and that's good enough for me. I mean, I made ground beef cheesecake. We all know why I'm trashy.
Yeah.
Why are you trash?
Okay, so this time of year, any flies are they're breathing their last breath. It's so cold. They're seeking refuge inside.
Later.
And we brought in, I guess, through a series of bananas, an orange, an apple here. Who knows? We have a couple of fruit flies.
Mm,
And we have little traps. Like Winston makes this little liquid concoction that kills them and gets them. It's great.
yes.
We have fly swatters, all the things. But not me. In my kitchen alone, swatting at flies with my hand and then thinking I've caught them. And then every time I go, well, what do I do now? Like, if there is a dead fly inside of my hand, gross. I don't want to see it. But also, did I catch the fly? How will I know unless I open my hand? So I've taken to like running water over my hand, thinking I'm gonna drown it. If it I Winston's like, we have a fly swatter. There are traps. Like, what are you doing? And it's just me thinking I'm Mr. Miyagi, just like swatting at flies with my bare. That's like a
Shit
lunatic.
gets real. Like, it's an instinctual thing, I think, to reach with your hand, but shit gets real.
It's just,
If you
yeah.
actually catch it, you're like, oh no. Because now you have the responsibility of like, you just killed something with your bare hands.
I was somewhere where a lady found a spider and she's like, please don't kill it. Take it outside. And so I was like, oh, okay. I'll carry the thing you just handed me that has a spider on it and then walk it outside. I'm like, do you want me to put it in your car so you can take it home? Like, spiders are the good insects. I know this. Like, they kill other things. I know we need them, but I'm like, it's okay if one of them dies. They're not bees. I don't know. I was very, yeah, of course, just turn around and I won't kill this spider when you're not looking. But
Controversial opinion,
mhm.
I guess. I will try to shoo a spider
Mm.
outside
Shoo fly, don't bother me. Shoo fly.
if we're already like close to the door. I'll do the
Sure.
same thing with flies. Like if we're close to the door, I will try to usher it outside. But if it's not close to the door, it's dead. You're dead,
Sorry,
bro.
what are we doing? Yeah.
I'm not. And anyone who's like, "Oh, don't kill it." Okay, you get it out then. Because I only have one move here, and it's removing my shoe, screaming at the top of my lungs and trying to hit it. Like that's my only move. I don't have the patience, the and I don't have the capacity to
Mm-mm.
round it up with a little piece of paper, and like I can't do it. So if you don't want it dead, you save its life cuz
Yeah.
it's dead to me.
Don't transfer that life saving to me. You can save its life. I
Yeah.
see it. I won't kill it. But
It's
yeah.
it's just not my business, you know?
You know why I doubt there are a lot of or actually, I bet this thing would be full of spiders because they would be running away from the ocean. Is the voyage the ship in our first story.
Feel like that was a stretch, but I love you and I actually don't know a thing about boat spiders. So,
Just go. You know how like old timey ships used to have the little like when they would be docked at shore, they would have the really really big ropes, but then with the giant knots. But then there would be little like round capsules that go over the rope. That was to prevent mice from running on from land onto the boat. But our first story comes to us from abc11.com. And this is the 3-year Life at Sea cruise is canceled. The company acknowledges it had no ship.
maybe for Patreon bonus content, I want to just kind of do a deep dive on like what's the deal with barnacles. But that's not relevant right now. They had I just was thinking about that when you're like talking about the big knots. I was like, and what's up with barnacles, right? Anyways, These people had signed up for the experience of a lifetime, 3 years traveling the world from the comfort of a cruise ship at prices that rivaled regular living expenses.
People sold their homes, their cars. They'd signed up for this. And so it was coming up, the inaugural 3-year voyage. Weeks of silence. Finally, the company was like, yeah, we ain't got no ship. Sorry about that. We're canceling the vowing to refund those who'd signed up for the costs. I mean, some of them were it was hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands of dollars, I
Yeah.
believe, is the
Hundreds
price.
of
So
thousands of dollars. Yeah, yeah.
billions, millions, trillions. So the cruise was supposed to originally depart from Istanbul, Turkey on November 1st, but shortly before that date, it was postponed to November 11th and relocated to Amsterdam. And then it was pushed still in Amsterdam, but to November 13th. But on November 17th, 2 weeks before that third departure date, the passengers were informed that the cruise was off. And this is particularly bad because some of the passengers who were signed up for this were still in Istanbul because
Yeah.
like they they didn't know, well, they found out too late that it was being pushed to Amsterdam. So they're just stuck in Istanbul, and some of them so stuck because they like Erica said, they're like renting out or sold their houses because they're gonna be gone for 3 months.
3 years.
Oh, 3 years, sorry. Yeah. So why wouldn't you? You
But
know?
also think about people from different countries that would have to now get different visas to travel.
Yeah.
Not every country is just like in America where we can go a lot of places just willy-nilly. Like, you get a visa for Turkey and now Amsterdam? Like,
Yeah.
it's shitty. I can't they said they will make repayments in monthly installments starting from mid-December, completing repayments in late February. It's offered to pay for accommodations until December 1st and flights home for anyone that is stranded in Istanbul.
So
Girl. Mm.
I feel like, and maybe it was like the Fire Festival was the first of this, but I almost don't feel phased now when things like this happen. And
Yeah.
that's sad, but it just seems like sometimes someone comes up with a great idea and is persuasive enough to get the funding that they need. But then
Mhm.
when everything goes to shit, it's like all the people who booked the 111 cabins who are truly feeling the repercussions, you know? I mean,
It's like if you build it, they will come. It's like, okay, they'll come now, but you have to build it. Like,
that's really what it
it's a
is.
flip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
You're like, there's no follow through. So,
these
what
people are just
happened?
yes-anding themselves. Sorry.
There was a ship called the AIDA Aura, and it was retired this summer by AIDA Cruises, which is a German subsidiary of Carnival Corp. And so they were going to buy that ship and call it the MV Lara. I mean, I don't know if these matter, these names, but regardless, they were supposed to buy this ship in September, and they'd been working on a dock in Germany to get it, and they were going to take it from Germany to Istanbul. But after 6 weeks of uncertainty, which the life at sea people were telling people like this is taking longer than planned, but on November 16th, so this is 15 days after they were supposed to depart already, a different cruise company announced that they had bought that ship. And so then a day later, the Life at Sea Cruises CEO resigned,
God.
and she said, I'm not speaking on behalf of the parent company, Mira Cruises. And she recorded a 15-minute video for passengers with all the tea saying that the cruise is not going to happen. And then it took 48 hours for Life at Sea to be like, yeah, it's actually not going to happen. So she said, I quit. I'm telling everybody what you're doing. And then 48 hours, they were said, yeah, we
They
actually don't have a chip.
they couldn't afford the ship. It's a $40 to $50 million investment, and they were like, We didn't get it.
which is like, you need to buy the ship before you sell the trip. Ugh,
You
what can we
know,
do?
you're being you're thinking smart. These people are thinking trashy.
Isn't it so crazy, like, that we live in like a country and a society where you really can just be like a dumb idiot with charisma and like just have like 3 years of insane wealth and then it just all goes to shit. I just watched something about the CEO of Bird, those scooters.
Yeah.
And like they're like, oh yeah, Bird is bankrupt now, but like Lime Scooters, who is the same product, but they ran their business completely differently, is like doing fine. And it's like the CEO of Bird was just some dumb idiot who,
Failing up, had a little bit of charisma.
yeah, man. Oh
We gotta
God.
fail up.
I know. I wish that I like I mean, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you're gonna laugh when I say I wish I had a worse moral compass.
Yeah.
But like I kind of do. And speaking of bad moral compasses,
Yeah. A story sent in by Richard Martin. Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
From theguardian.com and a lot of other sources, Republican Governor Kevin Stitt denounced as an embarrassment for recording video in support of Oklahoma Game Fowl Commission. This is supporting cockfighting. He's pro cockfighting. Just if that was a lot of jumbled of words, the Oklahoma Game Fowl Commission says you should be allowed to put razor blades on the little fingers of chickens and let them kill themselves in a ring for money.
Yeah. So this Game Fowl Commission has donated to several Oklahoman politicians, including Kevin Stitt, in an attempt to lessen penalties for those participating in cockfighting. They've actually given over $70,000 to Oklahoma politicians, including $2,000 to Stitt. Is that all it takes for Republican Kevin Stitt
I think
to support something super bad? Is just $2,000?
that's $2,000 on paper that they legally have to disclose, like campaign
Oh,
donations. They're like, "Oh, it's just $70,000." I bet you there's hundreds of thousands of dollars going into a company that his friend owns that Kevin gets a you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I don't know any of this. This is allegedly and what I think you could be doing. But that's a lot of times when you're like, "Oh, they donated $500 to their campaign." It's like on paper, and then 5,000, $5 million here, there that they'll collect in their war chest when they're done.
So for what cockfighting, we don't need to explain what cockfighting is. You can, I don't even suggest that you Google it. It's just a very inhumane thing to do to roosters.
Yeah.
But it is a practice that is outlawed in all 50 states. It's a felony in 42 states, as well as the District of Columbia. And the first law outlawing cockfighting was passed in 1867. So even in the mid 1800s, they were still like, yeah, this seems kind of fucked up. Maybe we shouldn't let people do this. And meanwhile, Kevin Stitt is posting on a video, I wish I could be with you, the Game Fowl Commission's annual legislative meeting, but I wanted to take a moment to cheer you on from the sidelines. Oh, like people cheer on the rooster that they bet on? I don't know.
Did you know that so like Sodom and Gomorrah, the biblical cities that were destroyed, right?
Yeah,
Sodom's one of their biggest crimes was that they were engaged in pigeon racing. And the gambling element of that was, and the money lending and the donate,
sure.
that was the thing that was like one of their biggest sins. I just
It
feel like that's something I learned recently and I just wanted to like tie it all in.
Wow.
Do-
This was a huge, I mean, it's a
More
good way
state.
to
Oh, sorry.
it's a good way to spook an Oklahoman, you know.
More states have outlawed Wait, no. More states have outlawed cockfighting than necromancy. You can
You don't
fuck
need
a
to
corpse
explain. Yeah.
legally
Okay.
in 10 states. There's not a law on the books. Oklahoma being one of them. But Oklahoma was like, yeah, you can fuck a corpse, whatever. You cannot have cockfighting. And our governor, if there was money involved, I bet Kevin Stitt would be like, it's a freedom to fuck a corpse. I'm just it was illegal in California as of 2004. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the one that signed the law into practice that all that is a no-go anymore, but
Wow. What
still
a
still legal because nobody I think wants to be the person that is like, I introduced the law. You don't want that to be like, oh, Brandon's law. Yeah, a lot of them get named after someone. It's like, yeah.
your history book and your legacy.
I mean, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the one that signed the law in effect in California in 2004. Oh, what an insane thing. Speaking
Well,
of insane thing. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
speaking of animals, from the HuffingtonPost.com, a cougar spotted in Oregon that kicked off a citywide warning was actually a house cat. And Erica, did you watch this footage?
No, I wanted to watch it live.
Okay, watch it live. Let's see what you see.
Okay.
I'm genuinely curious. I
Mhm.
had to watch it about well, you watch it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, this story sent in by Tina Curry, by the way.
The Huffington Post website is a mess.
That is that cat is less than a foot.
It first of all, it takes a second to even I watched that video 3 times because
Yeah.
I'm looking for like maybe like a large black cat or something
Right.
to cross paths. It looks like it's just a little orange tabby cat curled up next to a tree.
Maybe. Maybe. Okay, here's my theory. This town in Oregon had their emergency system, right? And it needed to be they needed more funding to get it updated. But the city council kept saying, "No, it's not in the budget. We don't have the money." Da da da, right? So,
Uh-huh.
somebody was like, what if we say this house cat is this? And then the emergency alert system had to go into effect. Then we get the funding to update it because we're like, this could be happening.
I don't know if that's a good plan.
I got a conspiratorial mind. It's clearly a house cat.
I'm
There's
just saying, like, I wouldn't think to myself, oh, we need to update this software if it was just like some idiot saying that they thought this house cat was a cougar. I think you would need a real emergency to happen. Yeah, I would say you'd be better off being like, I have a cousin who has a sort of like Joe Exotic esque farm in Alabama, and he said that he would lend me a tiger for the weekend.
Mhm.
That way we could test the emergency system. But this is also me building off of your conspiracy theory, not the real story. So
No, no. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. In 2017, an incident in Mississippi, a kitten was mistaken for a big cat.
it just it's it's so silly, it's almost sweet.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes things look bigger than they appear, but really big things can look smaller than they appear. It's all, perspective can be weird, right?
Uh-huh.
So that brings us to our next story sent in by Tina Curry. Thank you, Mama Trash Can. From the WashingtonPost.com. Orcas are back, baby. Orcas sink another boat in the Strait of Gibraltar off Morocco.
Whoa.
What's your favorite strait of water?
Oh, bearing?
Ooh, that's a good one. Gibraltar is my favorite. It's just the way the word just rolls off the tongue. It's my favorite. Bering Strait's good too.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that separation between us and Russia.
Oh, so killer whales have been bumping, biting, and in some cases, sinking boats repeatedly. And many scientists cannot ascribe motive to the animals. Maybe it's that we're fucking up their shit. Maybe it's that we're
E-
boiling the planet and changing, hunting them and keeping them in tiny little cages. And
what comes to mind is a group of scientists who says that they can't figure out why these orcas are sinking uh, yachts and fishing boats is the equivalent to 3 people who just had Taco Bell on a road trip 2 hours prior who can't figure out why their car stinks. You know?
That's a very apt comparison.
It's like, oh gosh, I don't know why this car stinks. Doesn't it stink in here? I only had 2 cheesy gordita crunches and I haven't had dairy in 6 months, but I can't figure out why this car stinks. It's kind of the same thing.
Fire sauce and extra beans. I don't know. So the crew was safe and unharmed and sound, blah, 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 blah. But
Erica.
so, I'm Team Whale.
They weren't fishermen though. They're just idiots on a yacht.
Yeah, that's worse. Eat the rich.
Why?
The orcas are
Okay.
on my side. I want.
That's fair.
People ask me all the time, why don't you eat fish? Which is just rude to like ask people about their food, I think. But I sometimes say, oh, well, there's more of them than us. And, when they come on land, I want them to know I was one of the good ones. And people just look at me for a second. And then I'm like, yeah, don't ask people about their fucking food prep. Like why would you do that? But I want these orcas to know I'm not on a yacht. Kicking it in my little rent-controlled apartment.
Erica, we only
Yes.
have one surefire way to end up on a yacht, which is to make more money. So I think it's time for an ad break.
Ooh.
Erica, do you have any concerts coming up?
Always. I'm a festival girly, I have to get the VIP though, because I cannot go without an air-conditioned bathroom.
Okay, well, my sweet angel, planning for faster and efficient hydration is also essential for festivals. And Liquid IV has you covered while you prep before, power through that headliner, and recover after the weekend.
Hey, now don't count yourself out while you're drunk poolside all summer, Cass. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water and with 3 times the electrolytes than traditional sports drinks.
I mean, we really have no excuses. Liquid IV is actually standard in my purse. It goes phone, wallet, keys, Liquid IV.
And with flavors like lemon lime, pastique, that's French for watermelon, and my favorite, strawberry lemonade, staying hydrated is easy peasy.
Mama, I'm talking B3, I'm talking B5, I'm talking B6, and I'm screaming from the rooftops, B12.
They've got all the B's.
And there's a little bit of vitamin C in there too, just for kicks.
Oh, she's made from premium ingredients and is free from gluten, dairy, and soy.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I'm vegan now. I don't know if I've talked about that yet.
We know. Okay. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code TRASHY at checkout.
That's 20% off of anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TRASHY at liquidiv.com.
Honestly, we're so trashy, we're hydrated.
Wet trash.
Do you need more trash in your life?
I'd say better in my life than dumped in the ocean.
Well, Trashy is now on Patreon.
Oh, yay!
We have ad-free episodes, bonus content, an exclusive RSS link, outtakes, photos, and more.
And with tiers starting at only $1.99 a month, you'll be the trashiest person on your block.
It's a great opportunity to show your support for this podcast and to skip hearing ads like this.
So get on over to patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast and start subscribing today.
Again, that's patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast, and we'll see you behind the paywall.
Welcome back. We're back. Hello.
Welcome back.
Ironically, or not, our next story has to do with a commercial.
From news.sky.com, Northern Ireland pub's tear-jerker video goes viral.
Charlie's Bar in Enniskillen Co. Fermanagh. You swear. Like, Charlie's Bar in Northern Ireland. It's not my business. Unveiled its festive advertisement on Friday, which shows a forlorn elderly man walking alone through the town center after placing flowers on a grave. He, after being ignored by several people that he passes by, he enters Charlie's Bar and is joined by a couple and their curious dog who stay and drink with him. And the quote at the end is, "There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met yet."
I have the chills.
Very sweet, right?
But also, I know like pub culture is kind of different than the bar culture here in America.
Yeah.
But
My God.
to be like, a bar is the only place you're going to make friends is kind of a fucked up message.
I mean, if it was in the United States and a couple and their dog came up and sat and started talking to me when I was alone at a bar, I'd be like, these people are trying to fuck me.
That's the hey, hey, me and my husband and our dog saw you from across the bar, and we like your vibe.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but no, I mean,
Mhm.
pub culture, I imagine people
It
have
is
better
more yeah,
intentions.
it's better. My favorite thing about being in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, was Winston. On 2 separate occasions, an elderly Irishman would kind of walk over to Winston, just red face as the day is long, and go, "Hmm, you're a beautiful bastard, aren't you?" And then just walk out of the bar. Not like, "Oh, what a pretty lady," or any of these things. They would just walk up to Winston. And I think they were like, "What are you?" Like, that's what they were trying to say, but they were
I
just
don't see a lot of mixed race.
yeah, you're a beautiful bastard, aren't you? But it was so funny. But,
I would have thought your favorite part about Ireland was the nachos.
you know, you
Hmm.
know, hmm. Oh, I found out the name of that bar. It's the Ginger Man, and it's only Christmas. The walls were, I mean, wrapping paper, lights, Christmas decorations, the whole plate. I mean, it looked like a TGI Fridays of Christmas, right? Or a
Uh-huh.
Cracker Barrel type thing, but they only do that for Christmas. Rather regular, the Ginger Man is not. But that's the name of the place I went called the Ginger Man. Anyway,
Okay. Well, the owner of Charlie's Bar felt completely overwhelmed when their video went viral. She said, "We're just a small local pub and we wanted to provide a Christmas advertisement that
aw.
hopefully resonated with people and for us. It became apparent over the years that Christmas can be really lonely and tough time for some people. We see that more than others, as on Christmas morning when we're open, there are some people coming in with maybe nowhere else to be and need people to speak to."
That
Very nice.
very sweet, very sweet. Well, speaking of the Ireland's trash, the British, in our next story from Reuters.com, Britain wins litter picking World Cup with loads of rubbish. And if you don't understand why the Irish and the British or the UK would have the read a fucking history book, but that's a decent joke, I would say. But
No, I liked it. It was good.
yeah. Um, Britain came out on top when 21 teams from around the world gathered in Tokyo this week to collect litter in the inaugural Spogami World Cup, an initiative aimed at raising awareness of environmental issues.
So, teams of 3 from different countries go around the streets of Shibuya and
Shibuya.
Omo.
Shibuya.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do it. Shibuya and
Shibuya.
Omotsanto?
Omotesando. I think so. Yeah.
I don't
Shibuya
know.
and Omotesando.
For 90, they do 90 minutes over 2 sessions looking for waste and then sorting through what they have found into the appropriate categories. I think that the Japanese once again have figured out they're playing 3D chess on all of us. They're like, "Oh, how can we keep Tokyo
super
clean?
clean.
How can we get the streets of Tokyo super clean?" And then someone goes, "Oh, what if we make it some bullshit competitive litter picking World Cup?" And this is proof that people in Tokyo are really playing 4D chess here, because what better than to go? This is people in the government being like, "How can we keep these streets clean without having to hire more garbage people?" Oh, I have an idea. Why don't we make up some bullshit thing like the litter picking World Cup and have people from other countries come here and compete to see who can clean up our streets the best. I don't know why, and it's mentioned in here that some people, someone from Team USA, in fact, said that sometimes it was hard because there's really not that much trash. Tokyo is, or Japan in general, is
Very clean.
very clean.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like the real World Cup for soccer, why doesn't the litter picking World Cup travel
Yeah.
around and like can countries bid on, can I
Yeah.
bid on it, as a matter of
I
fact,
was gonna say,
and
if
it's
you
going to be
guys
hosted at my
my
condo.
house,
Yeah.
guys, who can clean my apartment the best? World Cup.
Yeah. To spread awareness
Of
about
course.
about global warming,
Yeah, this
of
is like when your
course.
parents trick you into like, "Oh, we're having a sock matching competition. Whoever can match the most socks wins." And you're like, "Oh shit." You know?
Oh, 100%.
I also just wanna say mid-podcast, me being trash is having been to Japan once and being like, "Well, actually, it's pronounced Shibuya." Like, that asshole behavior of someone that's been to Japan at least once. It's me.
You know,
It's me.
it's considering how horrible we've pronounced things in the past, if we know the answer, we should chime in and say it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the culture in Japan, like, it is very, like, you don't, like, walk with your drink on the street. Like, you'll drink it right there at the convenience store, you'll throw it in the trash. Like, there's not a ton of trash cans even around outside of, like, stores and places because people don't carry things. I feel like if I leave the house, I'm automatically somehow spending 40 bucks
Uh-huh.
just to leave the house. It's like there's somebody
Yes.
just at the door that just collects 2 20s from my wallet. Like I'm like a Jetson, you know?
Sure.
And I'm going to fill up my car trash can with trash somehow. Like, I have to just every time I get gas, I'm dumping that bitch out. But it's like, I just make trash somehow.
I can't imagine not being able to drink something while on the move. Like I have a big loud water bottle that's made even louder as I just carelessly swing my keys in the same hand and just clang, like you can hear me coming
Yeah.
usually. And
Well, that's the noise is fine, right? Like, the noise is fine in Japan. Everything's noisy, it seems like. But the streets are immaculate.
clean, clean.
We don't gatekeep here, but we do sometimes cut stuff here.
Yes. Yeah, so Erica, sometimes a story comes along that just has a little too much meat.
Yeah, we're trying to eat light. We're trying to eat light.
And then sometimes a story comes along that doesn't have enough meat.
I'm still hungry.
Or sometimes there's a story that comes along. It's like when you order a burrito and you realize all the meat's up front and then all the other like all the rice and shit fell to the bottom. So then you're like, "Oh, all that meat was in the headline," you know?
Mhm.
Either way, when those stories come along, we have to do something about that. And in this case, we cut that.
And we cut that.
Our first story comes to us from Reddit, from the r/facepalm community. And this headline just really says it all and why we're not going to do it. But San Francisco police interrupt sex party involving midgets, emus, and a fountain of sperm. 71 arrested.
That doesn't seem like enough arrests.
How many people were there?
I don't know, but a fountain of sperm, you need to arrest more than just 71 people. Either way, we cut that. And honestly, speaking of a fountain of sperm, our next our next story comes to us from arstechnica.com. 5 women got eye syphilis from the same man, raising questions.
It's raising a lot more than questions. It's raising red flags. It's raising penicillin. Ugh.
What is that phone call? If you're respectful and you find you're out, you have an STD, and so you make that phone call like, "Hey, I just think you should get tested." What's the phone call like that this guy has to make of like, "I think you should get tested," and then the woman's like, "Oh, well, thanks for telling me.
Mhm.
What do you have?" So you know what syphilis is,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Syphilis. Yeah.
Okay, so just move that up about 4 feet, and then you're in your eye area. I have that.
I was like, how long is that torso? Yeah. Eye syphilis. Can a doctor write
I
in
think
and
my
tell
eyes are
us?
about 4 feet from my vagina. No,
Oh, I'm a terrible measure of you. You are either 3'1" or 6'9" to me. Like, I'm terrible at like when police lineups are like, how tall would you say he is? I'm gonna be like All right, guys.
How tall are you, Erica?
I'm 5'7". I'm
Okay, so you're
5'6" and
5'7".
5'6"
Oh,
and
you're
3/4.
okay. Well, I need to know that.
But my
So if you're
driver's
five
license says
six,
5'7". Sorry.
you're 5'6" and 3/4. I'm gonna guess that your vagina is 3 feet and 11 inches from your eyes, and then I'm 5'10". So I said 4 feet. Give me just one moment.
As I say, I get the tapes, get the
I'm gonna
measuring
get a
tapes. I'm
tape
looking for
measure.
a
Yeah.
measuring tape in this room.
I-
Yeah, I got a notebook that's a 12 by. Hold on, let's see if I can do the math of how many of these
okay.
notebooks.
Oh shit! I was wrong.
Okay, hold on. All
I
right,
was not giving.
one notebook, two notebooks. That's about a three. That's a three college ruled notebooks. So it's maybe
Okay.
exactly three for me.
Well, okay. So college rule notebook is usually around 11 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 33 inches. So you're just shy of 3 feet. What did I said 3 feet and 11 inches? I was big time wrong. You are
Yeah.
2 feet and 10 inches from your eyes to your vagina. I
Yeah.
am 2 feet and 11 inches eyes
Wow.
to vagina.
Yeah.
So
No, were you going
I
mons pubis or the bottom?
oh I no,
Because
I was within my menorah
okay.
is where I started it. Um I did have to back it up a little bit to account for my boobs.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but no, I was going labia minora to eye.
Yeah.
So you know what? I really just underestimated how long both of our legs are. It,
And
we
then
cut
we
that.
cut that story.
Why are we doing this? Why did we get units of measurement out? We cut that.
All right. From Newsweek.com. Kyle Rittenhouse has lost all his money, his lawyers say. Okay. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. You know what? Good.
Your
I
little,
hope that he loses everything in his life.
yeah. Like his mother's love, his mother who drove him across state line. I mean, we cut it. We can't get into that guy. So,
Yeah.
but
I found out by reading that story before we cut that.
mhm.
He has a book deal. Ugh, we can't talk about it. We cut
Nope.
that.
From news.sky.com. Plane forced to return to airport after horse escapes on board.
Now,
So many questions.
which is exactly why I put that in We Cut That, because I think it's funnier to leave you and every listener guessing what
I
than for us to actually cover it.
I also just picture like a flight attendant duct taping a horse to the seat because it keeps escaping like we did during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. Ma'am, you need to sit down. Yeah. It, who's to say if that's actually what's happening, because we
We'll never
cut that
know.
and I'm just a little scamp. I didn't want to cut it, or I didn't want to cover it.
Hey, Cass, are you ready though?
Yes, I am ready.
Well, guess what? It's time for the dumpster fire of the week.
Oh my god. Did this motherfucker turn on the air? Okay, he didn't. It's still the heater. I'm telling you, it's cold.
From the New York Times and ScreenRant.com, many other stories, many other sources have covered this as well, but who is Carl Rinsch? This is the unfinished show that lost Netflix $55 million.
Yes, so Netflix spent $55 million on director Carl Rinsch's unfinished series, and we are going to cover what led to this substantial loss and the fallout with the director.
So he was intended to direct a Netflix series that has since lost the streaming giant almost $55 million, most of which became accessible. Oh, all the particulars of which have only become accessible to the public sphere recently.
Yeah, so this that we're talking about, this series that was supposed to come out, Netflix won in a bidding war against Disney, Apple, Amazon Prime. Like everybody wanted this, and
Mhm.
Netflix won the bidding war, and this was supposed to come out in 2022.
So this
So,
director
go
was.
ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No.
So who's Carl Rinch? Why have we heard of him?
Oh, did you see that Keanu Reeves vehicle, 47 Ronin?
47 Ronin. I can't. Oh, was that $175 million box office bomb that disappointed fans and critics alike?
Yeah, it was. Let's look at the Rotten Tomatoes on that one. The Rotten Tomato for 47 Ronin, it has an audience tomato meter of 16%,
Oh my God.
and or the audience is 4% and the critics are 16%. So a bomb.
Big time bomb. Other than that, or after that, rather, he went to go and just work in commercials, which is what every director who has a bomb movie has to go do. His acclaim to fame was that he made an award-winning short film in 2010 at Cannes. It was called The Gift. But I mean, just because you can make a short film,
Yeah.
whatever. Netflix, they spent all this money on what was to be called Conquest, which is a sci-fi series, and Mr. Wrench never delivered a single episode.
Per the agreement, he would get final cut and an 8-figure deal after this was made. And the series was so essentially that's just so you know, having final cut is a huge deal. So
It
what
means, oh, go ahead. Yeah,
oh
explain
no.
it.
Like he gets the final edit. The studio can be like, "Hey, we want this change, this change, this." He gets to make those decisions, which is very rare for a almost unknown director to have that power. What they thought was this was going to be the next Dune, Game of Thrones, all this
Yeah.
stuff, like original IP. God, insane.
But yeah, it was supposed to be about it was a focus on organic intelligent, aka artificial humans, serving as peacekeepers around the world, with their true purpose eventually discovered by few discerning humans, and the conflict that erupts between humankind and the synthetic beings. Shocking that Netflix wants to create a pro AI story, but we simply can't get into that.
Not today.
Mr. Wrench, Carl Wrench, he started exhibiting erratic behavior on set by taking prescribed amphetamines known as lixdextafetamine, which, if taken improperly, can result in mania, hallucinations, and more. And that plunged filming into chaos. He was even known, of course, with everything going on, to have divisive theories about the origin of COVID-19, sending Netflix executives bizarre emails discussing the quote, coronavirus signal emanating from within the earth. This is what's crazy is there are so many like level-headed creatives out there in the world, but you get these people who are, I guess, falling upward of this guy who has a good idea, gets all this money, and as soon as you get to that point where Netflix is giving you $55 million to make a series, like you get to just start sending them crazy emails and they have to be like, "Ooh, I hope this pans out," you know?
This would never happen if he was a woman. I'm not saying the erratic behavior. I'm
Yeah.
saying a woman would never get a bet like this. No woman would never get the opportunity after making a bomb and working for like a production company that's Ridley Scott's production. I mean, it's so. I'm sorry to bring it into feminism, but like this man. So this guy, he bet on cryptocurrencies with 11 million of Netflix money, but actually came up. He bought a shit ton of Dogecoin and made $23 million.
Which, how did he even get? I don't. I haven't worked
Doge was
too much in
hot,
the.
and it's,
Well,
at
I
one
know
point,
that. I'm not worried about that. I'm wondering how he was able to get his
oh,
hands on $11 million of
so
Netflix's money.
the money that they gave him for the series, he put into his, I think Goldman Sachs like spending account,
Oh my
like a
God.
he has a portfolio account thing. I can't remember from the other article that I read, but basically he put that in, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just try to check for that, or I'll just do this, or I'll put my money in Dogecoin, the
See,
dog based currency."
that's on Netflix. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of people whose sole job it is to work on behalf of the production company in order to write the checks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're giving the filmmaker the money straight up of like, yeah, go ahead and make some interest on this. We trust you to definitely use all of it the right way. There was a New York Times article, which we've referenced, that exposed all of this,
It was written by John Kerry, who brought Theranos down. This is the Theranos journalist. Elizabeth Holmes was brought down by this man.
Well, tough noogies, because Carl Rinch has refuted everything in his since deleted Instagram post. He is looking for restitution from Netflix to the tune of $14 million for their breach of contract. He never acknowledged using money intended for Conquest to fund his lifestyle, and that he never demanded more money after it was spent, nor did members of Conquest's crew try to launch an intervention on his behalf to get him into rehab. He predicted that article would simply want to, quote, discuss the fact that I somehow lost my mind, ... Spoiler alert, I did not. That's crazy that he was like, oh yeah, they weren't, first of all, not on the crew to launch your intervention.
Yeah. Well, his
And get
wife
you
was
into rehab.
His wife was, I believe, the director of his wife was his creative partner, and I believe she was in charge of wardrobing, costume design, wardrobing, things like
Right.
that. And she was like, hey, he's getting more erratic. And finally she sent the email to Netflix that was like, go red alert, like, this man's lost his fucking mind. You have to come
Whoa.
intervene. Like, and they divorced. Like 2 days later, she filed for divorce or something. So him being like, I didn't lose my mind. It's like, if your wife, who's also on the payroll, has to be like, nope, this one's over. Like, that, pretty strong claim against that, you know?
Well, Netflix made an official statement in the New York Times report explaining that after a lot of time and effort, it became clear that Mr. Rinch was never going to complete the project he agreed to make. So we wrote the project off. And in the end, it seems like a lot of money to lose, even on an ambitious project. But they seem to still think it was whatever. Like, they're like, meh,
Yeah.
bummer.
I love like studio and like public company math where they're like, oh, let's just write it off. Me, meanwhile, trying to write off a microphone I use for podcasting gets
Oh
me
my
threatened
God,
to have
the
an
IRS
audit.
is,
The
yeah.
IRS, but they're like, oh, you gave $55 million to a crazy person? Just write that off. Like, where does the money?
Yeah, just write that one off.
Just
That's
write that
fine.
one off. We'll never get the Wile E. Coyote movie. Just write that one off. Like, not the point. But Cassandra, what are you hoarding?
There is just an absolutely delightful salad right now at Trader Joe's. It's like a butter lettuce salad pack. All that it is butter lettuce and ranch dressing, Parmesan cheese, and then these really yummy croissant croutons. So what we've been doing is we ditch the Parmesan cheese and we just do the croutons and whatever dressing.
Ooh.
I mean, you're really just paying for these croutons and the butter
Sure.
lettuce. Anyways, it's just been so yummy. Just a quick little cheeky salad to put on the side with whatever you're making. And when I get to what I'm throwing out, you'll understand why I'm hoarding it. What are you hoarding?
So it's that time of year again. The Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes are back in stores. I got one pack on Thanksgiving Day, and I haven't been able to find them since. So this is a call out to the listeners. If they're at your local grocery store, I will pay for them in the shipping if you will send them to me. But what I'm really hoarding is, goddamn, I love them so much. What I'm actually hoarding is It Cosmetics Superhero Waterproof Mascara. Let me just say, I make no money from endorsing this. I have never in my entire life, the 21 years I've been alive, been able to have bottom mascara. Nothing works. You can tell me this is reinforced concrete. There was one thing that worked for a little bit and they discontinued it because it would rip your eyelashes out if you didn't take them out properly. And it was a little mascara. I loved it so much, but they don't make it anymore because it was horrible for your eyes. But I put on the It Cosmetics Superhero Waterproof Mascara that I received as a free gift, and my bottom lashes did not smudge. They did not. It was incredible. It's the best mascara for my bottoms I've ever used in my life. Like, it's too thick for my top lashes. That's a whole other day. You can tell me, oh, this is how you put the foundation. This is what you do for the eyelashes. You put a spoon on it. None of that works for me, people. My eyelashes are too long and my eyes water. That mascara is going to run, but not with It Cosmetics Superhero Waterproof Mascara. I'm hoarding the
Wow.
shit out of it. That is a
All right.
full endorsement.
Yeah.
Best. Anyway, just love it. Love it. Yeah. What are you throwing away?
Well, similar to your little Debbie cakes, when we like nice things, Trader Joe's taketh away. And so anything that I say out loud, I'm like, oh, this is really good at Trader Joe's. I'm going to go get that again. Suddenly, it's gone. And so I'm hoping one of two things happens. Either I've put it out in the universe that I like this butter lettuce salad pack from Trader Joe's, and maybe it will not go away. It's so simple. Why would it? Although, so was the vegan ranch salad pack that I liked. God. Or perhaps everyone can just suffer alongside me and try my yummy butter lettuce salad pack and then watch it as it goes away. I don't know who to contact.
Right.
They
I don't.
didn't have
Yeah.
they didn't have pumpkin pop tarts this year, and it was like,
What?
what are you, high? Those were the best things that you put out. And I'm just waiting for the day when they get rid of my coconut milk chocolate ice cream, even though I asked Taylor, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or not, I was like, told Taylor, I said, you need to email Trader Joe's, find an email address. I don't know why I couldn't do this myself. I needed him to do it because, men get taken more seriously.
Of
I
course.
said, you need to email them and you need to tell them, hey, I noticed that a lot of your dairy-free ice cream is entirely oat milk with the exception of this one coconut. My wife can't have oat milk, so please don't get rid of this ice cream, which he did do it. And then they sent back, so happy to hear that your wife really enjoys this ice cream. Bye-bye. So I just who do we contact? Who do we say,
Yeah.
knock it off?
Yeah.
Because you get rid of good shit and you keep around bullshit that nobody wants.
I'm sorry, Cassandra. Like, this is like a call your congressman about Trader Joe's.
Well, I kind of feel that way, Erica. I mean,
I know. I'll get on the phone. I got Hertz to reverse a charge today. I got on
wow.
the phone and chewed that ass. They tried to charge us for an extra driver, even though we have Hertz Gold. And the guy was like, oh, sometimes it doesn't work. And we're like, no, you put the number in because it does work. We should not be charged for the extra driver. And he didn't do it. So I called today, complained, and I said, well, this. And she's like, oh, well, if you book through Expedia, it doesn't count. And I said, it does fucking count. And you're going to reverse the $60 charge for the additional driver. Anyway, I'm just saying, if I get a number for Trader Joe's, I'll get on their ass for you. I am good on the phone. I am so kind and supportive of, I know this isn't your fault. And I really appreciate you helping me. And what can we do about this? Like, I am the queen of getting a customer service on a phone call.
I want to give you some advice as a friend. The term is I chewed them out. It is not I chewed their ass.
Oh, no, but I did. I chewed their ass.
Okay, what are you throwing out? You ass chewer.
Speaking of ass chewing and eating, I really, it's the holiday season that we're going into, and you might be at a Friendsgiving, a Thanksgiving, a holiday party, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa gathering, and maybe those are potluck style, or maybe it's hosted by one person, and you're putting your plate together, and then somebody says, oh, why didn't you try that thing that I brought? Why aren't you eating that? Maybe I don't like eggs, or maybe I don't like paprika, or maybe I don't like this. Like, Do not. I'm throwing away asking people about why they're eating what they're eating or what they're eating and why they're not eating this. And don't ask people about their fucking food unless you are a waiter or somebody saying, any allergies? Great. Let me make accommodations for that. But if someone's scooping a pile of mashed potatoes on, no need to comment about that. Let them have 2 scoops. This is the time to end the shaming in the bodies. I'm really I can't take that no more. Can't take. So
I mean, you brought it up a little bit earlier when you didn't like that people ask you why you don't eat seafood, and this certainly counts.
Yeah.
I think that you're right. It might be inappropriate to ask people. You know what's crazy? Is it because you get in a weird position, you know?
Yes, yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to tell you why I'm not going to try your thing. I'm a good guest. I'll try what I want, but also just don't ask people their thing. And I just, it's that time of year.
There's like
People, a lot
always
of
a
food
thing.
sensitivity, and it's just, why engage in that?
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
Cassandra,
why didn't you eat my ground beef cheesecake?
I knew it would come back.
Is it because it looks like there's ground beef on it? Or okay, it's fine. Whatever, forget it.
All right.
I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah,
It's literally fine.
All right, Cass. Oh, where can we find you?
You can find me. God damn it! I'm never ready for this. Okay, ask me again.
Well, Cass, where can we find you this holiday season?
All right, at 15301 Ventura Boulevard, Sherman Oaks, California. That's the Sherman Oaks Galleria Cheesecake Factory. I will be out there trying to pitch this great idea of cheesecake con picadillo, which is ground beef cheesecake. And I'm really looking for support. So, if you can come, maybe bring signs in support of that, that would be really, like, I don't ask for much, other than for you to subscribe to our Patreon, because now the Patreon has longer episodes. This episode was longer, but you didn't know that unless you're listening to Patreon. But I really, you can find me at the Cheesecake Factory in the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Iconic Erica Curry on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, any of the things. But most important, you can find this podcast at Trashy Trashy Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads. Our website is trashytrashypodcast.com, where you can find links on where to listen. You can send in a story immediately and let us know why you're trash or a story that you'd like for us to cover. You can also email us all the time at trashytrashypodcast@gmail.com. That's a great place. Our merch store, where we'll be uploading some new designs, is trashytrashypodcast.threadless.com. And you can find us at patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast for ad-free episodes, longer episodes, bonus content, and more. Patreon.com/trashytrashypodcast. Use code TRASHY for all discounts and promos. And we just want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing the podcast. You guys mean the world to us and world to me. I don't know. I'm cutting that part. You guys are great. We really appreciate you listening every week. Anyway, that's all. Yeah. Hey, Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.